Now you probably have your vehicle jacked up and supported on jack stands. What we're going to do is we're going to put a jack underneath the control arm here just to kind of support the suspension. We're not lifting the vehicle off of the jack stands. We just want to support it. Once we remove this bolt here and separate the shock, the suspension would normally want to drop down. So for safety reasons, have it supported with your jack. Using a 15mm socket, go ahead and loosen and remove the bolt. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lower the jack, and you're going to see our suspension travel. Now on the inside of the fender well, we have a fender liner, and the fender liner has this little star retainer. We're going to go ahead and pop this one off. Just going to use a pick and try and work this off a little bit. You might be able to try a pair of pliers and try and spin it off. Once you get this one off, you want to grab the one beside it, because there's two of them here. And here's our second one. Here's our third star retainer. And we should be able to pull this liner down like so. And reaching in with our 10mm socket and extension, let's go ahead and remove the two bolts here. Now be prepared, the shock is going to drop out. Now what we can do is reach around behind the wheel, grab the shock, and go ahead and slowly lower that down and out of the vehicle. Using a 13mm socket, we're going to go ahead and remove the nut off the top of the strut bushing here. In our case here, the nut is spinning with the shaft, so we're going to go ahead and switch over to a ratchet wrench and a pair of pliers to hold the end here. Go ahead and spin that off, and then we're going to go ahead and start to disassemble our components here. I'm going to go ahead and take our new shock, slide this up. Install the nut. And we're going to install the same way we removed it. All right, the nut is bottomed out. Let's go ahead and install. Now we'll go ahead and take our shock. We're going to feed it up through the back. Get it lined up. What we're going to do is going to reach on up here and get the bolt started by hand. Do this on both sides. Let's go ahead and tighten these bolts down. Let's go ahead and tuck our fender liner back up into place. Take your liner, tuck that up and lock that into that little tab right there. Line that up there. Let's go ahead and get one of our retainers pressed on here. And the one beside it, right over here, just press this retainer on. Then we have our third one up on top underneath the fender. I'm going to get that one pressed in. Fender liner is all put back into place. Let's move back underneath the vehicle. Now what we're going to do is put our jack back underneath, and we're going to raise up our suspension. It's going to allow for us to line up our shock and our bolt nice and easy. Now we did go ahead and clean the bolt. We put a little bit of anti-seize compound on those threads. Go ahead and work that in. Now we're going to go ahead and get this bolt started by hand. That way that we know that the bolt has caught, and we're not going to cross thread anything with power tools. So we can go ahead and convert over, tighten that up. Now when replacing these shocks, it is recommended that you replace the lower bolt and the two upper bolts. You want to go ahead and acquire those from your local dealership if you can. In our case here, we're just going to reuse the original equipment, and we're going to torque this big bolt down to 85 foot-pounds. With everything tightened up, we're going to go ahead and remove our jack from the suspension.